Hi, this is Philip Mason with Incredible Fathers, and I want to share with you one of the things that's made a huge impact in my ability to extend my reach to my children and pull them in close to me and allow me to be a better father. And so this principle that I'm going to share with you is something that's not new. You've probably heard it before, but I find that actually very few actually practice it. So what I would recommend doing, and this is something you'll probably have to give some thought to it, and perhaps you'll have to counsel with your spouse and with your children and find out what works for your family. But one of the things that I do, and this is one of my tactics to my strategy to be a good father, is to take my children on dates or on outings. And this is how I show my children that they're important to me. So for example, this weekend we have Labor Day coming up. I'm actually getting on an airplane with my oldest son, and I'm flying to the great state of Utah, where there's some absolutely incredibly beautiful mountains, and we're going to hike to the highest point in the state of Utah. It's going to be an epic trip. It's going to be 3 nights, 4 days, and we're just going to have a great time. And we're going to have some awesome bonding experience. My brothers are going to be there, and I'm going to have some other family members there. My aunt and uncle and a couple of my cousins are going to be there, and we're really looking forward to it. And so this is something special. This is something special I'm doing for my son. And it's because I love him, and I want him to have those experiences, being in the outdoors, experiencing beauty, being willing to work and to learn how to survive a little bit in the outdoors. And I want him to have that experience, but I also want to have that experience of being able to talk with him and share with him what's important to me, to kind of bare my soul and my heart to him, so he knows how important the gospel of Jesus Christ is to me, how important his mom is to me, how important living a good life is to society and to this nation that we live in. And so that kind of experience is priceless, and creating memories like that are priceless. As I look back on my childhood and as my time as a youth, my parents did that for me too. They created very special memories. And sometimes it wasn't always planned. You know, you want to have regularly planned outings or dates or excursions, whatever you want to call them. But sometimes you do spontaneous ones too. And it's because there's a need there, or it's because there's a fire that needs to be put out. And as a father, you recognize that need, and you help that child and bless their life by spending time with them. And so I'll give you an example of this. When I was a kid, my father, he was a farmer. He was very busy. He worked long hours, and oftentimes he was very tired. So I came to him one Saturday, and I was just aching to spend some time with my dad. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, can we go out to the farm? I want to go shooting or exploring or do something with you." And he's like, "Well, I'm not feeling really good." He had a sinus infection, and so he had a headache, and his sinuses were all clogged, and it was infected, and he was just miserable. And I could tell that he was miserable. And he was working on the computer, trying to get caught up on things he hadn't been able to do. And, he was just, in fact, I remember him being in his bathrobe. He just wasn't feeling good. I kept asking him, though, and asking him again. And finally, he looked at me and he said, "Okay, let's go out to the farm." And I know this is probably the last place he wanted to go, because he had been spending all week out there working his tail off on the farm. But he did an amazing thing. He packed me up, and he took my brother too, and we hopped in the pickup truck, and we drove out to the farm. Now, it was a windy, nasty, dust bowl type of day. It wasn't a real good day to go out shooting, but we did. We got the .22 out, and we went out on the farm, and we found some really cool targets, and he taught us how to shoot, and we worked on our marksmanship, and we had a great time. You know, my dad had to get dressed. He had to decide to do this, and he had to drive 45 minutes to get to the farm, and he had to take time to teach us, and it was totally inconvenient for him. But as my brother and I, we had a fantastic time. It was terrific. I haven't even forgotten that experience to this day. It still has left an imprint on my mind and my heart, because my dad was willing to do that for me. And that particular Saturday, I needed that. And my dad responded in a really powerful way. And I'm so grateful that he did that. And that's the kind of dad that my father was. And I hope to be that kind of father to my children as well too. So that's that's part of the reason why I'm taking my son. We're hopping on an airplane flight, and we're going out to Utah, and we're going to go hike some mountains together, because we want to have that binding experience that just kind of seals us together and creates for powerful memories and creates a strong relationship. So that's my challenge. That's my recommendation to you, is to do this on a regular basis with all of your children. It's going to require some sacrifice. It's going to require some effort and some planning. And I would recommend just getting a calendar out, sitting down with your children and with your spouse and saying, on this day, we're going to go out and get a hamburger together. On this day, we're going to go to your piano recital. Or on this day, we're going to go out and hike a trail. And if you plan out those things and be very deliberate about doing them, you'll find special blessings come into your life, and you'll find that your children are strong and that they're firm and that they're willing to share problems with you and that they're willing to be happy and they're willing to do hard things and they're willing to put aside sadness and sorrow and to find joy in living life. Just amazing miracles will happen as you do this. From something that's so simple, if you'll put the effort into it, you'll reap great rewards. And I know that that's true. So that's one of my tactics that I would share with you that's worked really well in my strategy for building successful boys, building successful girls, and being a great father. I love you guys. Thanks for those that listen. I hope that these videos are meaningful and impactful. And if you will, take a moment and share it with someone else who you think it might benefit. And I know that these principles that I share with you will have an impact if you put them into practice in your life. This is Philip Mason with Incredible Fathers, and I'm signing off.